Hello, how's it going everyone? So this video is going to be more so talking about the funnel and how agencies relate to the funnel, what to look out for as a business owner as well as an agency, and what to kind of expect and why businesses fail, why businesses don't fail. So this is going to be a very, I guess, macro video as well. Again, going over just what I've seen with accounts where, you might see an agency that does really well with this account and an agency does really bad with this account, and then a really bad business that both agencies both struggle with and then blame it on themselves, right?
What if we blame this on someone who's out of control?
Nicky, be very careful what you say next.
Bury ya.
I'm gonna have to report this conversation.
Kind of a full circle video talking about both perspectives, both the owner perspective that I've seen, at least that I perceive, and then the actual agency perspective, which I've experienced. So the first thing that I want to kind of go over is we all know the basic funnel, right? Like you start with traffic, they go to the website, then you remarket them, and then they convert, or their sales team, whatever the, process is, right? Follow-ups, whatever the process is, right? So you're going from cold to warm traffic all the way down to the actual conversion, and then, or the sale, the lead, whatever you're really optimizing for. And so the biggest thing that I will say right off the bat, and I think that every single business owner should hear this, is traffic isn't going to solve your problem. So if you don't have a good system in play and you haven't had proven concepts, don't focus on the traffic. It's just simple as that, right? Like you can't, if you take traffic out of the equation, you still have somewhat of a funnel, right? You have organic in here, you have awareness, referrals, whatever the case is, you have a system that's been proven to work, you have a business, right? Like you have an actual business. And then all paid traffic really is going to do, if it's ran properly, is increase the effect of your funnel. And potentially, if you have an agency that, is driving traffic, so they're your paid media, then you also have like CRO agency, they kind of blend over into like the middle of the funnel side of things that can help you out. And then obviously, remarketing that kind of comes into the mix as well too. Website design services, maybe have a team that's housing, salesmen, or an agency that houses sales, and they do, they help you with like, offline sales, or, when you're not in office, whatever the case is. Most agencies are more so in sort of this, range in here, right? This is like the healthy, I guess, area that I see a lot of agencies in, right? They're in like the traffic, the CRO, and then, the remarketing side of it. I don't really see many agencies that are doing like the sales or working on the actual checkout process nearly as much, which is fine, right? That's up to more so just how I've seen it. The business owner, because, ideally, you would have had at least, baseline this section built, right? And then you sort of grow it from there. Like, you say, okay, like we have a good website, we have the ability to, take payments, the basic stuff, right? It's a proven business model at the baseline level of it. And then, like I said, you add in that traffic. And so one thing that I noticed is agencies that are not good, I'll just be blatantly honest, will say that they're traffic agencies or performance marketing agencies, and then they'll kind of blend in this area here, right? So you start out here, you have your organic traffic agencies come in, and then they say, oh yeah, it looks great. Like, they end up bringing in new traffic, but then they slowly optimize into that repeat traffic. So you lose that whole scalability, which is their whole selling point. And then you're pretty much just trugging along in the traffic and remarketing side of things, right? So we have like all those Performance Max campaigns, heavy remarketing where you're like 80-90% remarketing, 10% actual cold prospecting, and you're not really growing the funnel. And the reason why they're doing this is because the offer that you have within their outbound funnel is not working in the audience, right? And if they're a good agency, they'll show you all the information like, hey, these are the actual people that are searching, this is the audience we're targeting, this is their engagement, this is how we pair up against other agencies' ads. Like, they give you the full picture and give you the full information of saying, hey, here's what you have, here's what they have. If it matches and you're looking at it from that perspective and you can say, hey, yeah, we're getting a lot of new traffic, the engagement on the ad is really good, we see that the ad copy and the actual ad is, if not the same, if not better than the other competitors, and you're still not seeing sales come in, that there's a breakdown somewhere else in that pipeline. And it could be something as simple as you started your business and you worked off referrals, so people already trusted you, and you don't really need to do like heavy follow-ups because they already built the trust with you. And so as business owners grow into the next stage here of going further up the funnel, there's a lot more issues that pop up, right? Like you might need more follow-ups, you might need more marketing, you might need to change your website a little bit because people don't necessarily know how to navigate it as easily from the top of funnel, more so awareness side of it, right? Because, you know, typically when you look at a funnel, it's the people that are the most engaged and then you go further up, right? And if you're, you know, maximizing those referrals like I was talking about, or that organic traffic that's kind of, you know, already in the market, finding you, and then you're kind of warming them up in a longer form. When you dump in a lot of new traffic, yes, that might convert in the future, but typically based on the medium that you're focusing on, that's going to affect your follow-up requirements, your marketing requirements, your CRO requirements, and then obviously your sales team is going to be, you know, impacted in a positive or negative way. And so when I divide this up into sort of two categories where there's like lead generation and you know, e-commerce, it tends to be, if it's lead gen, more so on the sales and follow-up side, right? So you can send great traffic, but the sales and follow-up team might not be the best, or you might just not have a sales team during the hours that people are searching, and so they're just going to all these other companies and not necessarily looking for you specifically, even though you're bidding on the first position keyword or the very high intent audience. And so when that happens, you're essentially just wasting ad spend and not maximizing your reach for the actual sales team and how they're structured. So it's very, very important, both as a business owner and a, you know, agency, well, a client of mine, so an agency's clients or an agency, is understanding that what is traffic going to do to your business, right? Is it going, like, what is the root cause of what the traffic is doing? If there's validation of good traffic and it's there and you don't see the actual effects of that validation, validated good traffic, like proven good traffic that's coming in, then you have a problem further down the funnel, and that just has to be addressed first. And it's not the traffic issue, right? So we can take that out of the equation and say, okay, we have really good, you know, keywords that are converting, high intent keywords that have converted in the past that are historically, you know, convert for every single other account in the same niche, or they, you know, have converted and then we've seen it in organic, and we're just not able to scale that up. It could be something as simple as your checkout's not working properly. It could be something as simple as, you know, you upped your prices, competitor came in the mix. So there's so many other factors that go beyond just traffic, that as an agency, to provide value to you, they need to go further down the funnel and actually help you with your, you know, follow-up sequences, understanding your sales team, knowing if, you know, your marketing is set up properly with the right messaging, and if there isn't, then you try to locate pain points to then focus on. So to kind of sum all of this up, when it comes down to digital marketing from a performance perspective, if you're a traffic agency, in my opinion, traffic agencies are dead. I think it's such a low value offer because it relies on the business being a stable business versus that of you helping the business build out their full funnel or being more further down the funnel, right? And the key to this, as both a business owner and a marketer, is which parts of the funnel do you want to outsource as well as keep inside your business? I would argue from an agency side, we want to be more further up the funnel, right? Like we want to be able to send traffic, understand, like, you know, how that traffic is going to interact, these algorithms, the systems in play, to then leverage that in a proper way, because then obviously you as that business owner, you don't have the scale of accounts to look at for information, or you're typing on YouTube like this and you're trying to find out what can I do, what's the reason for it, and you don't have the data pool that agencies do. So I would very much, you know, say that the argument for traffic is there for agencies, but I would very much go against the fact that, you know, if you're looking at like your actual sales team, your actual checkout process, your P&Ls, like everything that's very geared towards you as a supplier of the product and an actual, you know, like pool of like the core of like your brand itself. This should be obviously something that's way more into, you know, in-house control. And then once we get into kind of the middle two spots here, like I'd say something like CRO is probably like right there. Sales is there. Follow-up is, you know, kind of in there as well. And let me just do remarketing. I guess there's kind of the same thing there. And so I would say that CRO is kind of a blend of both. So it's kind of a, yes, it could be, you know, an agency. From what we've seen, most people are typically in-house when it comes to just website development. But that's, you know, one of the debates that I've had quite a few times is depending on the traffic, that's going to affect the CRO. So there needs to be synergy and communication back and forth between the quality of traffic you're sending and the CRO that essentially links up to that. Because if we start sending traffic that's very high intent, your CRO conversion rates are going to skyrocket, right? You're going to be like, oh, what we did worked. But no, the reality is no, the traffic's just more high intent. So there needs to be some sort of close synergy between traffic and CRO in order to have accurate data samples to say, hey, this is actually the cause of it, and this is what we need to do to improve the full funnel. So I would argue that there's a lot of remarketing and CRO that would be more geared towards, outsourcing towards, an agency, because they can link those two together. The one thing I will say though about remarketing, and it kind of goes back and forth, is email remarketing. I tend to see it work better when the actual agent or the owner takes control of this, because they know their audience, they know the messaging, and it also allows them to keep a tab on their interaction rates with their actual client base, meaning people have already purchased or have shown interest, and then improve on their overall, branding, right? So you can find that, you could have a review, or you can have someone that, purchases when you say this word again, and that word then could be like a trigger for, some sort of emotion that leads you into, it resolved this pain that I have. And then what you can pull from that is, okay, I know that my brand is solving this pain in the industry. Can I improve on that pain and, really allow my business to serve more people by saying like, hey, we can fix this issue, or I can add on more things to solve the problem. And then that will just trail up the funnel, right? And so I think as business owners, it's important to have yourself at the core of it all. Which I know sounds super basic and like obvious, but I think it comes down to just understanding you as a business owner. You need to stay in touch with your brand. No agency is going to be an advocate so heavy for your brand versus you, right? You know the industry more than your agency. You understand, who your client base is, and then you and the agency collaborate, because whenever I take on accounts, that's the first thing that I like to talk about is what type of clients are you serving? What are their pain points? Why are they, why would they come to you versus someone else? So then that can tailor the ads to that actual message, right? And so having a good temperature check on that 24/7 as a business owner is obviously why I think that the sales process, the reviews, the follow-up emails need to be within your own company. And I think that, and this probably makes some people angry, but I think that that should all be within your own company and not outsourced to an agency. I would say the agency mindset would be more geared towards big picture, what general movements make sense, because they can, like I said earlier, blanket their strategies, or not blanket, but view their strategies across a wide range of clients to then let them worry about the algorithms. You don't have to worry about like the finite algorithms and how they function. You just focus on your business and your branding and how that relates to the rest, right? It's sort of like, it literally, this is literally what it is. Like the heart of it all is the very bottom of it, which is your brand, all your information on the pain points, and then it just branches out. And so the further out you branch, the more I believe, and this is obviously up for debate, but I would say, and I would argue that the overall ability for it to be outsourced becomes greater and greater and greater. But the impact also becomes greater and greater. So it's one of those things to where once you have it all set up, it just comes down to outsourcing, and it just makes things a lot easier for what I've seen. So this is kind of, I know this is kind of salesy from like the traffic side of things, but I just want to give you guys an example of how I like to see it from an agency perspective, and then how I've seen clients be very successful with it. And then it just comes into the situation of making sure that your traffic agency is actually sending good traffic. And then the rest of it, pretty much comes down to just the follow-up sequences. And, obviously if a great product that works, then it should scale massively from an agency. If you find out that you have a product that works and you go to an agency, it doesn't scale at all, and it works, you've seen it before, you have really good P&Ls, it's probably the agency that's the problem. And so that's why, me as a agency owner get a lot of clients that kind of come in, and I look at the traffic and immediately I'm like, this is all just warm traffic. Like this isn't going into cold. We're not growing the business when we want to be. And so that's the first thing that I always do that fixes majority of problems, is just gear it more towards cold traffic, because the proven system, like the system works, right? Like there's a proven system, proven funnel. And the part that I'm exploring more now is going more into the CRO side of it, because it helps clients bolster up and mirror the two from traffic to CRO so they can actually see what's going on properly. So just want to give you guys the insight, more of a longer video. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, throw them down below. I'm happy to answer, you know, any of those. I'll also probably shoot some more videos based on the questions you guys have for me. But I'm also on LinkedIn as well, so that'll be in the description, and feel free to shoot me messages on there and I'll make videos on it for you guys. So anyways, thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next video.